Did we start the introduction?
Now here's Neil.
Yes, I'm on now. This is Neil.
Oh, hi, Neil.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
Saved me,
All right,
Neil.
guys.
You're a saint.
Yes,
Welcome
of course.
to the.
Saint.
Welcome to.
Yeah, you're a saint today.
Oh,
All
thanks
right.
so much.
We're talking about religion. So
Guys,
Yeah.
welcome to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gomer, and I'm a podcast engineer here. I'm excited to bring you another episode of the Blue Collar Crypto Show with Tim Torosian that I do here every Sunday at 4 o'clock and 5:30. And about side hustles, business tips, crypto, and so on for blue collar workers. So with nothing further ado, I bring in Tim. Also Neil here too, but welcome, Tim.
Hi, Tim. So what is the subject? Religion? What brand of religion? Catholicism, Lutheranism, Protestantism? What brand of religion?
I know, and you know, one of the subjects we should touch on it, right? Religion covers a lot of. Yeah, I would say I put Christianity into two categories: Orthodox and Catholic. But then there's other brands. We're calling them brands of Christianity, and I could use an education. I'm not comfortable with my knowledge of Christianity in terms of organized religion. And what did Jimmy Carter say? Jimmy Carter had a quote on like my Google, right, on my feed from Google, and he said something about the Bible and gay people, right?
Oh, wow,
and he said,
that's pretty controversial.
Yeah, you know, he's passed, you know, and he had a quote, you know, and actually a more interesting president than people give him credit for, I think.
Yes, he was most interesting after his presidency than while he was president. I think he was interesting while he was president. He did some accomplished things, but he was more interesting after his presidency. He was able to he worked on homes with the project, you know, working on homes, and he did that, and he did many other things that were very interesting. That I think were very interesting as well.
I remember it was quite the controversy when inflation was jumping and jumping. I do remember the banks offering like 15% on your money, or close to 20. Mm-hmm. So that's called inflation. And right. There were things that costed so much more, and I think that's why he lost his re-election campaign.
Yeah, he lost his re-election campaign for several reasons. One was inflation was the biggest issue. Another was the fact that he promised he had gasoline rationing was another thing. Another thing was that the hostages were not rescued, and that was a problem. He had a failed rescue attempt, and that was very controversial because he tried to rescue the hostages, and he wasn't able to do that. So there are a number of factors that led to his failed re-election.
Now, I would like to judge his presidency on that, on inflation, and judge him. And then, but I found other things to be very positive about his presidency. But just a very intelligent man, a very moral man, and
yes,
he ran
very moral.
And I think that matters for a country. that they have a leader, that we have a leader that is moral and ethical.
Yes.
So do we have more corruption today than they were 100 years ago? I'd say
Yes,
it's
we
about
do.
even.
We have more. With Trump and the Clintons, we have more moral corruption, I think, than we did at that time.
Yeah. So it's maybe, depending on what you consider to be corruption, it gets
Sure.
confusing.
Right.
We just had an election, I would say 2 months ago, and in a
Right.
couple of days we're going to be crowning a new president.
Correct.
And I personally have stopped watching the news, and and not to add on to that, I stopped watching all organized sports, but I watched some Packers today.
The Packers couldn't pull it off against the Bears, huh? That was a sad situation.
Well, the Bears probably, I guess they deserve a win, but they're not looking good in general. For those of us who don't know who Jimmy Carter is, I think it's only fair. I mean, at the end of the 1970s, Jimmy Carter was president.
76 to 80, correct. And he was defeated by Ronald Reagan.
Right, and Ronald Reagan didn't do anything too damaging or too terrible, but I think presidents get judged by the 4 years and what occurs. And I think our economy, if we want to talk about the economy, currently is going very well. There are more and more opportunities, and we're going to showcase that here with the Blue Collar Crypto Show as we go along into the new year. Happy New Year's. We're going to showcase more about what's right with the economy and what's going on in the economy. As it relates to people's lives, their paychecks or their incomes, their prosperity, right, Neil? I mean,
right. Yes.
Go ahead.
The key takeaway from Jimmy Carter's presidency was one thing that he did that was a little significant, not real significant, was he introduced solar energy, and he put solar energy panels on the White House, which was a rather interesting fact.
Look, the next time they show a picture of the White House on TV, maybe I'd like to see.
Yeah, I don't know that they're currently there anymore. I think they were taken down, but he did have them on during his presidency, so that was interesting.
I really don't think that. I like the way we're conducting ourselves today with the show, you and I. A friend of mine was offered solar panels here in Wisconsin, and she was kind enough to share with me what she was thinking. I think the panels were $40,000, and they were only going to charge her $135 a month. But I'm not aware that solar panels are very effective for Wisconsin.
No, not Wisconsin. I lived in Florida for 2 years, and they'd be very effective in Florida. Very effective in Florida. Or Colorado was another state that they would be effective in as well. California as well would be effective there. So the number of states would be effective, but not Wisconsin. Wisconsin doesn't get much sunshine, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they were going to tack that onto her mortgage and your house. And when you sell your house, so we discussed it. Like I said, she explained to me she was thinking about buying solar panels, and I thought I would tell her it was a bad idea. And that a financial decision going forward, it would hurt her credit. And in the real estate world, she would, when she went to go buy another house, they would hold that against her credit, whether she could afford. Yeah, so we came to a mutual discussion about how she should go financially, build her, keep buying houses, right? And if she bought solar panels, it would slow her down in her accumulation of real estate. So I don't recommend solar panels. Until I can find a good reason why people should have them, then yeah. But I don't. There's not enough features there for a person that I know of that enough reasons. So if I don't know what the reasons might be, but I'm not sold. And if you have any extra money, maybe solar panels aren't the, maybe they're not good real estate investment, residential real estate strategy.
We touched on solar panels. We touched on the Carter administration. I'd like to get back to our original conversation about religion, which I'd like to spend the rest of the show on if we could.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it. So
Catholicism and Orthodox Christianity are the two main branches of religion. Now, there also is Islam as well. So that is another, and Judaism, Judaism. So those are the four main branches of religion. Judaism, Orthodox Christianity, or Christianity in general, Protestantism is another factor, and Catholicism. Those are the main divisions of religion. And what's the feature? What is the feature of America is our freedom of religion, and with that freedom of religion, which is your freedom to practice whatever religion you choose, and freedom from. So of religion is you can practice whatever religion your heart's desire. I think breaking the law might be might not be included, but then your freedom from religious overtones from your government. So the government cannot, based on a religion, tell you what to do. And I know that's simplistic is the way I say it. The government can't tell you what to do. Do I agree that the government does tell you what to do? So, but regarding religion specifically, Islam is one of the world's oldest religions. Judaism is probably the world's oldest religion. Judaism is the world's oldest religion, followed by Islam, then followed by Catholicism. Catholicism was founded a little over 2,000 years ago by Christ. Islam was followed by Muhammad. Judaism was founded by the Jews, and then Protestantism was founded in the 1500s by Martin Luther, and so that was a breakaway from Catholicism. Originally, there was just one Christian church called Catholicism, and then that was in the 1500s. That was divided into Protestantism and Catholicism. So those are the main branches of religion in that reality. Oh yeah. It's good to remind ourselves, and of our practicing religion, we get to practice in freedom in America, and then there are overtones in our politics from religion. There's sometimes our politics is religion tainted, right? Religion influenced, right? Right. And I can't speak too much about that, but it seems like maybe
Seems like we want a Catholic president at one point, and then we don't want a Catholic president at some other point. But
well, we were fortunate, in 1960
yeah.
we elected John F. Kennedy was the first Catholic president, and unfortunately he was slain. But he was the first Catholic president. But he said he would not take orders from the Pope, and that was very interesting how he said that. How he said that he would not take orders from the Pope, and I think that was really a true statement. He was free to be the president first and a Catholic second.
I think, yeah, I noticed that. I also noticed that that there aren't too many countries that allow you to practice your religion freely.
Correct.
I'm going to say there are other countries that do allow that. There are, not just the United States. Also, if most of your country practices one religion, there's a tendency for there to be backlash if you're not part of the religious majority. So, in
Correct.
other words, if you're the wrong religion, you could get persecuted. And there's not much that a government does about that, except, they either let it happen, or because it's violent, they stop it. In America, if there is a violence associated with a religion, the government will step in and stop the violence. And in other countries, I don't know that that's to be the case, that religious persecution is allowed and the government just looks the other way.
Would you say that Israel is what would you say Israel is? What happens in Israel? What would you say about that?
I would just take a wild guess that there is religious persecution in Israel.
Yes, I believe there is as well.
Because you and I, we feel it or we don't feel it, right? We don't know, we don't live there. But when you hear about religion, when you hear the news stories, you just go, oh, okay. If you're Jewish or Hebrew, then that's good. If you're not, then they are not too concerned about you.
Right. I think there's a real, there still exists. The Gaza war is going on, and there is a real conflict between the hatred between the Jews and the Palestinians, and that's very unfortunate. I find that, that hatred has gone back centuries and has never been resolved, and I think it needs to be resolved at some point. Jimmy Carter was really good with the Camp David Accords, in which he proposed and got ratified peace between Egypt and Israel. That was very, or the major Arab countries and Israel had peace, and that was very good.
I do believe that there's, again, and this is politics, but, I'm not afraid. I do believe that there's a chance for peace in the Middle East, but I don't think anybody takes that seriously. And I don't think it's a goal, a sincere goal, of anybody to have peace there. So
I think the
sincerity
participants in the country don't want peace. I think people outside of the country want peace, but not the participants in the countries. I don't think that Israel and Palestine don't want peace because there is such deep hatred between the two groups.
Yeah, I don't think American foreign policy, even when I look at Clinton, right? I don't think it's fine-tuned. That's being generous. I don't think that the American foreign policy, and partly, directed by presidents, because that's where foreign policy generally comes from. I don't think it's as effective and as I don't know, sincere is the word, but I'm not sure why or if or when we conduct our foreign policy for positive results. And I don't think we're looking for a positive result when we conduct American foreign policy. Of course, that includes the CIA, maybe the Justice Department, but the State Department, the President. I don't think we're getting our results that we could and should be getting. I don't think we do it for the right reasons. So, but I think there's a lot of possibility for the future. I don't think any of the presidents were terribly effective. I include George Bush, George W. Bush, Clinton. Were ineffective. Maybe Carter was a shining light in what could have been. What if we had a second presidency of Carter? Maybe things would look different. I'm not sure that Obama was effective in the Middle East.
Well, he did one thing that was very effective. He did slay Osama bin Laden, and he did it in a very effective way. Unfortunately, George W. Bush tried to do it in a very ineffective way through invading Afghanistan, and I think it was very ineffective. And I know that he was concerned that there was weapons of mass destruction, but I think Obama was very effective because he sent in a small police force that killed Osama bin Laden. I think that was a very effective way to get rid of Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, I agree. Just for the statistical, for all our listeners, I think Islam as a religion or as a people around the world is about 1 billion people practice that, and some of them outside of the Middle East, like Indonesia, is Islamic. But Islam is practiced maybe most effectively in the United States. I don't even know. I mean,
right.
It is a big religion here too.
Correct.
Yeah. And so there's Buddhism. There's a religion that is practiced in India.
So I want Hinduism now.
Right, Hindu, right?
Yes.
And are people aware, right, that there's 1 billion people in India practicing Hinduism? That makes it a major religion. Is it a major religion in the United States? I would say it is, but it depends on your perspective. If you have the freedom to practice religion, then if you have that freedom in the United States, then whatever religion you care to practice is it's your religion, so it's a major religion. We have to take that into account in the way we run our country. And I think Americans are more respectful, more tolerant. It's hard to tell with the last campaign if we were building tolerance or not building tolerance for religion. I was brought up in an Orthodox Christian church, and I was taught to respect other people's religions as I was raised. But I don't think we can segue too much into our topic today. But our topic is just fine. I would like to keep moving in in the economics? And then how about because I went to school learning about how the economy affects people, but I'm more interested in how do people affect the economy? What can we do with our economic system, which is the best economic system in the world?
Correct.
Yeah, what can we do as Americans to grow? I mean, I'm not sure if here in Wisconsin, we're aware that there's about 500,000 small businesses here, just in our state.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a time when there weren't so many. People generally practiced for somebody's business. They participated in a large corporation. But as a United States citizen, you pay your personal income taxes. And if those happen to be corporate taxes, if you own your own business, now you're paying business taxes.
Right.
And yeah, so are we aware of the variety? And I mean, locally, there's a car detailing service here. I talked to the owner, and he says, well, some days he's getting $40,000 a month in business, and other months he's getting $1,000.
Wow, that's pretty radically different. That's very risky.
Yeah, so I mean, if you go in there and you know, this is just an anonymous business I'm talking about, but it's what if you the government is tight on you. They want to know if you're making money, and they want their share, and
right.
Which is actually a good thing that you're paying your taxes, state taxes, IRS taxes. And in the first year, it's going to be, no matter what you do, it's going to be a jumpy year for having your own business. You're going to learn a lot about, you know, what's deductible and what's not a deductible business expense. You're going to pay your taxes. The second year, you should be making more money. But generally, you're in charge of your own. You know, you're not working the blue collar job anymore. Now you're in charge, right?
Right.
So, but I don't know. Is there anything you'd like to add today? You've quite done quite your share here, Neil. You know.
Thank you. No, I think we're pretty well ready to wrap it up, and we can turn it over to Emily now.
Okay. Do you want to ask her to come back in, or should I?
I will. Emily, you want to come back in and close the show, please?
So I have to thank everybody for all that information. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And urge everybody to check out all of our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and so on. And to check out our other deal that we're working with, like just joining the Disability Channel, Arkansas of Transforming Media, that Clan on the Peck Channel, Lawrence Wingate Studios, Earl Williams of the Midwest Finance and Podcast, and get work that they're doing. And again, we are here every Sunday, 4 and 5:30. So we'd love to have you on a show. So if you are interested, to please reach out to none of us. Reach me, text me, or call me at 608-886-9801. So it's until next time, hope everybody has a safe and productive week and stay safe.